So hello again, my friends. And originally the beginning of this video was going to be different, but when I came last night to check on my camera trap down by the little canal here that I've been leaving it out at, as I was walking down the slope, I found these massive tracks from a tractor or something that had come down to this location, and my heart skipped a beat for fear of my equipment, and then it turned to anger. My equipment was okay, but somebody came down here from one of the local farms, I'm guessing, with a tractor, and basically they bulldozed a whole section of this area, ripping out all the brambles from a location just here. Let me show you. They tore that out. They flattened this entire area where there's this little opening to the pond, and they bulldozed all the brambles right up to the location where the animals that I was filming were accessing both sides of the canal, and they've made it impossible for the animals to come through. Thankfully, when they were in the process of doing this, they didn't spot my equipment in the back there to either damage it or steal it. But it's incredibly frustrating, and they've created huge damage just here, which you can see is all just driven over. Puddle was a tiny pond, much like this one over here, which was full of frogs and newts and other little animals, which they've just completely crushed. And they've just done it without any thought. And what's amazing is that this is part of the national park as far as I'm aware, and yet they still feel at liberty to be able to do what they want. The reasoning, I'm figuring, behind doing this is that they're going to bring their animals down here, either the buffaloes or sheep or goats or something, and make this into a natural pen, and I'm guessing they didn't want them escaping over the other side over there. And they have a natural watering hole here as well, and they will just turn this, when they do bring the animals down here, they'll just turn this into a mud mire. It would be a disaster. So yeah, like I said, this was going to be a completely different video, showing you my setup here, which was different from what I had done in the past. Basically, I had set the camera in bulb mode to shoot at night, long exposures, in the hope of getting starlight, etc. And I managed to get a couple of shots, which I was really happy with. One of the beech marten, which came across, and one of the wildcat as well, came across the log. I recomposed it so that the camera was looking down the log and in a slightly different direction to get a little bit of open sky, in the hope of getting some starlight as well, which I sort of got, but not as well as I had hoped. But the shots themselves, I think, look great regardless, and I hope you agree with me on that. And now I have to try and find a different location as well. So this video will be delayed in coming to you, and whilst I spend the next few days hunting a new location. So yeah, kind of sad and annoying start to this video, but hopefully it'll have a good ending, which I don't know yet, so we shall see. Anyways, I shall catch up with you again in a few days' time, hopefully with better news. So I shall see you then. Come down whilst the sun is too bright to do any meaningful photography, to see if I can have a hunt around and maybe find a different spot to put the camera trap. And as I've been driving along the embankment here, I've noticed that the whoever blocked off the crossing point where I had set up the camera trap before was also closed off another 2 spots, another 2 crossing points, which is really annoying, and it's made it almost impossible for me now to get to the other side of the canal. We've had a couple of really stormy days where I haven't been able to do anything, and you can see, in fact, I don't know, well, maybe you can or can't, the mountain behind me, it's covered in cloud at the minute, but up there it's been snowing again. So we're almost into May and we still have snow on our mountain, which is cool. Anyway, so I'm gonna try and find some kind of a route through this jungle down to the canal to see if there's a spot that would be good for setting up the camera trap. Pretty much given up on that side of the canal, at that end of the canal I should say, when I was driving back to head over to a different stream, which I will go to as well. And as I was looking down, I noticed this tree which has fallen across, and there does seem to be a little bit of a trail from the tree. I can't tell on the other side, back there, if there's a tunnel through the brambles that animals would be coming down through. But here, because it is open, and one of the things I want to do is an open sky shot at night, I will set up one of the trail cams here. It's a little bit more exposed in terms of if I do decide to set up the camera trap here, I'll have to do it in such a way that it is quite well hidden, because if they are planning to start bringing the buffaloes down to graze along here, and that's why they've been blocking off all the passages through to the other side to stop them escaping into the fields beyond, then there's going to be activity here, human activity, and I don't want them spotting my gear. So anyway, I'll set up the trail cam in the bushes here, looking back over the fallen tree, and see if it produces anything. Okay, so that's done. As you can see, I've positioned it just here looking back over the fallen tree. And I'll be back in a few days to see if it has any footage on it. Fingers crossed. Come down to the river where I thought I might try and set up another trail cam if I can find a spot where animals might be attempting to cross this river. So I guess I shall go upstream and see if I can find anything there. One of the things I'm doing as I'm going along is the embankment here is fairly muddy, and it's fresh muddy, so I'm looking out for any kind of tracks or markings, and here we have some. If you have a look down here, and there's more here in the corner. To give me an indication of wildlife that might be coming up and down the embankment here and crossing over the stream. And what I need to do is try and find a spot which is an obvious crossing point. So I'll carry on further up. It's absolutely stunning walking through here. Okay, I found some really good tracks here as well. You can see. And come along. And basically, they're coming from up the embankment. So I'm guessing, because they're heading down towards the river, that something's come in to have a drink. I'll carry on. There's a bridge further up. I'll carry on to that, and if I don't find a better spot, then I'll come back here and set it up on that tree, looking back towards where the animals might come down for a drink, and see what's using this little path here. Even more tracks, and these one I'm pretty convinced. So they run along the side of the river here, and I'm pretty convinced that it must be some kind of a little marten. The river flooded its banks massively over the last couple of days, so it's washed a lot of the tracks away, which means these tracks are really fresh. And they must have been made in the last 24 hours. I can't find a single crossing point there. So it looks like I just need to find a location that'll record what animals are running up and down the side of the river rather than actually crossing it. So I might, next decent set of tracks, that's a decent enough location as well to actually make for an interesting picture, because it's one thing setting up the trail cam and recording wildlife coming through. The point is, for me at least, to set it up in a location that is photogenic, so that I can potentially bring the camera trap down to get high quality images of whatever it is that's using this path. Right, time to head back, I think. So I shall catch up with you when I'm setting up the the trail cam at one of the other locations. I've set it up just down here, and it's looking back towards the little spot here where the animal has been coming down, I'm guessing to have a drink. And my thinking is that it is a marten of some kind, judging by these tracks here. And they head up the path, up the embankment there. Again, I'll come back in a couple of days and see if anything has triggered it or not. Again, it's not, even if I do find an animal down here, it is not the most ideal of locations for a camera trap, for the DSLR camera trap. And the picture isn't that exciting, I don't think, but I could be wrong. We'll see, depending on the animal. If it's a cool animal and worth the effort in trying to get a shot, then maybe I will. We'll see. Okay, so that's going to be it for this one. It's probably been quite a long one, so apologies for that. Yeah, I shall see you next time, hopefully with results from these cameras and me setting up the DSLR camera trap somewhere at one of these two locations. Okay, see you next time. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you again soon.